Hi and welcome back to the Tutor Lounge, where we bring you the music, the tutorial and the musicians. Today we have Karel Chebara from the Czechs. He's a bass player that has played with that wonderful band from New Zealand called the Czechs, who are still out there in spirit somewhere, if they're not on the stage. Hey? Yeah, we're hanging out at Karel's place in this beautiful lush paradise that we're in. Sitting here and spoiling his royalties that he got from all those songs. In jest, I say, in jest. Right? In jest. So we're going to have a drink and we're going to say cheers in both New Zealand and in Czech. So firstly, in Czech, sir.
Na zdraví.
Na zdraví. And cheers, man. Good to be here with you. Now we'll just take 5. Let that go down.
How's that?
That's great. Very warming. And that's something pure from the Czech Republic, I think.
It's actually Russian, but
there you go.
It's delicious.
It's close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. So we're going to get right down to it because this is where we talk about music. And I watched a few videos from the Czechs, and I saw that Karel was playing tasty bass, and in some tracks he was playing with his fingers, and some tracks he was playing with a pick. So what is the difference, mate, for you playing when you choose? Okay, I'm going to play pick in this one.
I taught myself bass, and I always had an issue with picks right at the start.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't feel the strings, and there was a disconnection between my playing and my feeling and actually playing the guitar.
Yes.
So for the first sort of like probably 5 years, I always played fingerstyle, everything, no matter what the song was.
Right.
And then slowly, as you sort of want a different sound, it's mostly sound based. It's like depends. Like a pick really gives you punctuation and kick, and sort of like front end on the sound and attack.
Yes, an attack.
Especially play down the back.
Yeah,
get
right.
Slightly extra tension of the back of the string.
Yeah.
To really make it pop.
Yeah, for chugging.
Yeah, for chugging along.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that's the only thing that I think about when I choose whether to play pick.
Right.
Song.
Yeah.
It never really makes it easier. I still feel like because I started with fingers and I played the song, I feel like I can get around a lot faster with the fingers.
You playing with all your fingers? Even
no,
pinky?
I just play my 2.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, I'm self-taught
That's
now. I'm like
interesting.
fully homegrown
Yeah.
on the
Two's
bass
good
side.
enough. Two's good enough.
I don't even have the claw down that well, you know, like. But no,
Well,
it's just you once you figure out your place, you know, and where you sit, you know where everything is. And for me, as soon as I picked up the pick, it was a slight abstraction. It was slightly different, and I had to get around it.
Yeah.
But after a few years of doing it, I really dug it, and the tone that you can get, and the subtleties that you can pick up through just the consistency and the power and everything. It's just it's a different approach altogether as well.
2 things that makes me want to ask you. One, and this is the one that's sort of least important. Has a producer, when you've been doing a record, ever said to you, hey look, you know, I prefer that you play fingers, or I prefer that you play pick? Because he had a different kind of, you know...
I don't know if a producer ever said it, but I mean, it's definitely been on the discussions, like when you're laying down a bass track. Yeah, for sure. Like, that song sounds better with a pick. Mm. And that's a legitimate thing to say.
So you've had to change, like I usually do it on that, but I'll do it because of the song?
Totally, absolutely. Like,
and have you been happy with the outcome, and has everybody happy with the outcome when you change from Well,
it's like, recording is a whole other beast than live, because I mean live you've got it all sitting behind you, you can hear the stuff, but hearing everything through the microphones is a whole another thing, because you're listening to what's going to be on the record, and if that doesn't absolutely capture you the way you play it, you have to keep finding a new way until it does. And if a pick is that thing, or if it's this pedal that puts the slight distortion, or if it's this other thing, you need to do whatever it is for that song to make it happen. And if I have to play with a pick, I'll just play with a pick.
Sure, And
that's what does it.
Yeah.
But no, totally. I'm pretty sure we've had definitely had situations in the studio where maybe I'd already played the song with a pick, and I was like, oh, I could be mellower and I could play the line with my fingers and it'd be cool. And then we'd actually listen to it and be like, no, actually.
This works. Yeah, I got that.
I think You and Me was actually like that when we first did it. I used to play it live with a pick, and then in the studio I was like,
it's a smooth song. It's definitely a finger song. I thought that, and just on that, the second thing that I want to talk to you about is something that we talked about off camera, which was your idea of your ability versus what a band requires in ability to make a band great and to make them gel. So I was looking at your ability, and you're a fine player, there's no doubt about that. But you mentioned that, well, I don't know if I'm really up with those guys that can Stanley Clarke and that, but we talked about that, and it doesn't take Stanley Clarke. Stanley Clarke's great, but it takes what you do in that particular setup and the chemistry that makes that band great, right?
I think it's like a family, and everyone plays their part, and everyone has the things they cut out for it, and things they do more for it, and they put in time here and take out time there. But as a bass player, you're a supporting musician.
Well, it's another thing. It's an interesting thing. I'm going to let you finish there, but no, do it. Talk that one out because it's interesting.
Yeah, because you're there with the drums.
Yeah.
And you're laying it down, and everyone's playing on top of what you and the drums have got together.
Yeah.
Because if you and the drummer aren't playing together, there's no band.
Yeah.
Like the song is going to just be all over the place.
Yeah.
And if the drummer doesn't listen to you and you don't listen to your drummer, forget about it. Like the song's not going to be there.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Look, yeah, absolutely, mate.
And and as a bass player, you're there to lay the foundations of it down. And yeah, you mentioned all the great bass players, they do crazy ass shit and they got crazy technique. But that's not even what I meant about being really good. It's about what makes you good as a bass player is picking harmony and timing and melody and getting tight with the drummer and being on top of it and being on top of the track. So if anything goes down, if you know that track well enough, if you know that track by heart, you can play with your eyes closed. Yeah. No matter what happens while you're trying to jam out the solo or jam out this section, as long as you come back in on one and on the right note, that's all you need to be a great bass player. Right?
Well, absolutely, mate. No, I haven't told you this, but I'm a drummer.
Oh, no way.
I've been drumming all my life, so I'm connecting on this, and that's another thing that actually was really cool to see you in those videos, and I noticed that you were one of those bass players that kept on looking at your drummer, and you were trying to pull him in all the time. I know he was into his own groove, and he was doing, occasionally you met, and it was good, but I really appreciate that because it's so great to see a bass player wanting to get that machine going with the drums, and I saw you constantly chirping around to him and looking at him saying, come on mate, you and I, you get that, eh? Yeah, you can do it all the time. I love that. I thought it was just so cool to see that.
You just got to make sure that it's a two-way thing, you know? Like they're listening to you and you're listening to them. Yeah. Because if it's a one-way thing, and if I was just be like, no man, you've just got to listen to me, stay with me, I've got time. And he's like, no, I've got time. Like it's not going to work. You have to lock that stuff up.
No, that's true enough. The other thing that I want to pull out of this conversation, which is also so interesting, is that you said it's a support role, and that's why I kind of got all mixed up when you were saying that, because I truly believe that it's actually the new lead guitar. I truly believe, and I've noticed that so many guitarists are now turning to bass because they're finding the true melody in the bass.
There's definitely more room for elegant simplicity in bass guitar.
Yeah, well, you've got 4 strings. And it's
not even about the strings. It's just about like if you play too many notes down the bottom, it's gonna sound gross in a way. Like it's never gonna you can play as many notes up the top, on the guitar, and they'll pierce through the melody, and you can hear everything. But when you start doing that too much on bass, it gets a bit washy into some kind of. Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't have the right support from, if everybody else is doing crazy stuff, it's gonna get totally lost. Yeah. But it's difficult.
This is good stuff. This is really good stuff to listen to coming from a bass player that really has a good understanding of his instrument, and I mean that. But I would like to emphasise that I truly believe that it's such an
I agree with you though. I think these days, if you look at what's actually really selling, it's all in the bass. All in the bass. Dance music has always been in the bass. Even in the 60s, the thing that gets you dancing has always been the bass. And that's dancing at the moment. Dancing always sells music. Yeah. So even from back in the day, the latest dance craze song was the hit. Yeah. You do the shake, you do whatever the hell it was back then. Now you're doing your drum and bass, your dubstep, whatever you're up to. Yeah. It's the bass lines that sell it. Yeah. It's not the effects or the beat or the over the top stuff. It's always the bass.
Yeah, it looks so overlooked by so many, I believe. But then I do come back to this quite often. Sting was a bass player. great bass player. Paul McCartney's bass
Held it
player.
down, man. Those guys held it down.
They just brought it with bass. They wrote songs on bass. They brought the bass out, and some of the females. Who was a great bass player? I was just checking out a while ago. Oh, she was just so good too, playing bass and singing. And that's another thing that to get onto. The feel of playing bass and singing. Do you find that okay?
I find it really difficult.
You do, eh?
I think if I'd done it right from the beginning, I would have been way better off.
Right.
But I think it's something it's really difficult to learn once you
Yeah.
are in the groove of just
Yeah.
listening to the drums and playing bass.
Yeah.
Because
Is it because of the like the notation and the feel of it is not in phrase?
I think it's
With
about
the lyrics?
I think if you when you start to learn music, if you're always training the fact that you can do one thing while you're doing another thing, that's what singing and playing bass is, because bass is it's a rhythmic instrument, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got tone, but it's a rhythm instrument. It's like it's almost like drums in a way.
Yeah.
A fill on bass is a drum fill with notes.
Yes.
Really, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So like to be able to hold, it's like, I mean, playing drums and singing is kind of different because it's all in the body and your muscle memory. But to change around and do different melodies on bass and try and sing in a whole other melody that sometimes goes completely against what you're playing. Yeah. For me, my brain is like, it's so difficult. Yeah. But I feel if I always tried to do that, if I always taught myself that, it would have been easy.
Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're a bass player and you want to learn how to sing and play bass, get on
it from the start.
As fast as possible.
Do it from the start, man.
If you're a lead singer and you're a bass player, just play and sing every day.
Yeah, perfect, mate.
The more the better.
Well said, Karel. Look, we're going to lock it up there, but we're going to come back now and we're going to do some more on Karel's new stuff, because he's writing some new songs across in Sydney. He's living in Sydney now. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some of the other stuff he does outside of what we've just covered. Cool, thanks, and see you again soon.